Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And, we got high school football to talk about first, as we have here for the past several weeks as we head into, what are we at, week 6?
Coming up, yeah, week 6. Yeah,
wow.
Things are starting to kind of take place, the playoffs. And actually, there'll be teams this week that clinch playoff berths. If they go 6-0, they'll be 4-0 in their conference, more than likely that's above 500 record. So they will qualify for the playoffs then. So.
Okay, well, let's go back to week 5 and the game. There really wasn't a lot talked about it that I saw. 82-6 was the final with Mondovi beating Neillsville Granton. But statistically, you look at the passing that Neillsville Granton had, you wouldn't think they got beat that bad.
I said, Andrew Hazer, just a nice job, nice connections with Mike Isabel and Landon Rakestraw. I think Landon had 10 catches, 139 yards, and Isabel had the only touchdown of the game. So I think you find some silver linings in a game like this. Do you like the score? No, absolutely not. But I thought their offense and Andrew very comfortable throwing off his back foot, too.
Yeah, like I told you during the game, that's kind of how he throws.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's very accurate.
Yeah.
And the passes that Andrew had intercepted most of the time were tipped.
Mm-hmm. So he had a few that were dropped.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
absolutely. So
I think that Neillsville Granton's not used to passing that
much.
No. I mean, normally they're a running team.
Yeah, you're going to build an offense around Gunnar Barth. Well, Gunnar went out early with a concussion. So that really doesn't leave you much for, the next one up was Lucas Strangfeld. I think he went out with a concussion, so it left you nothing. So you have to go with what, your running attack is going to be a bubble screen to Rakestraw or somebody like that. But it's just really nice downfield passing attack between those three guys.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. They've got their work cut out for them again on Friday night against Stanley Boyd.
So before, there was a lot of talk Saturday, Larry, about Mondovi running up the score and on social media, and I thought Coach Lehman did a really nice job of answering and saying no, that Mondovi played very vanilla, and I thought so too. Mm-hmm. There's only so many things when you put young players in. You can't ask them to lay down.
To not do.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Neillsville sends in a freshman quarterback late in the game, and they have him throwing. Well, he made a bad throw, got intercepted, run for a touchdown. The fumble return right before half. Those things happen. But I thought Coach Lofscheider did a good job of getting his subs in early. And like we thought, he didn't even start his starting quarterback. And they played probably 4 different quarterbacks in the game. So it's unfortunate it happened, but it just
there was a few hits late in the game that we thought were a little excessive.
I thought the hit on Lucas Strangfeld was very not needed, and there were a couple others and a couple of very exuberant young kids from Mondovi, and you hate to see that, but overall, I don't think you can really complain about how Mondovi played that game.
Because the one thing you don't want to see in a game like that is either side somebody getting hurt.
No, absolutely. And Neillsville had enough of them hurt on the sideline anyway. So, So.
All right, so that game last week, Neillsville Granton is suffering their the loss, so they go down 0-3 in the conference now, and they have Stanley Boyd, as we mentioned, coming up. Yep. And Stanley Boyd, they're looking like the real deal.
Yep. Just
on top of the Kohler belt.
Just come off a 51-8 win against the honorary member this year, Spectrum.
Yeah, they're playing everybody.
Yeah. But anyway, they look like the real. We knew they would be. Very strong and fast, defensive and offensively. You're going to see. We've been seeing teams run the ball hard the last couple of weeks. We're going to see a different, like a passing attack here tonight, tomorrow night.
Stanley Boyd does not run all that much.
No.
And why would they?
Their runs are dump off screens and things like that. And Carter Eisenberger leads the conference in passing yards. And he's got some nice targets led by Madden Marr.
And one of the top in the state too.
Yes, absolutely. So.
You don't think Stanley Boyd would look ahead? They have Regis next Saturday, October 5th.
Yeah, and I said it's hard to say, and on their home turf it'll be hard. I think they'll overlook it some, but is that going to be enough to beat them? I don't know. I think Mondovi last week, look how clean a game they played. No turnovers, very few penalties, and if they play like that, they're still going to win. But definitely going to overlook them, and Regis has got a game tomorrow night too. So
Yeah, they're at Mondovi.
yeah, so these games are coming up fast. So, but it could easily be overlooked. No doubt in my mind. So
because Stanley Boyd and Regis play each other at Regis next Saturday, October 5th, and both teams coming into this week are unbeaten overall and in the conference.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Regis does down at Mondovi.
Yeah,
Mondovi, very strong team up front, but Regis really running the ball. Tate having a big year running the ball, so we will see. We'd seen Fall Creek the week before, great offense. Regis shut them out, so obviously they're playing great defense this year too. So,
and another team that's in that playoff hunt you mentioned that could maybe clinch, but is Elk Mound. Elk Mound got a big win over Durand, Arkansas, and now they are at Fall Creek.
Yeah, 32-8. So they're the that top four. They're kind of the unknown team, but they're a strong team, and they've got one of the better quarterbacks in the conference, and Logan Jerome, and they have a strong running attack also. So.
And then we look at the Merriwood. Well, I want to say the Merriwood, but it's the CWC large and small conferences. And Edgar continues to be up there, and Auburndale is putting up some points.
Yeah, Auburndale's putting up some big points, but they've already lost to Edgar. The game I'm looking forward to coming up soon is Abbey and Edgar. Because Abbey seems to be playing at a very high level this year.
Yes, they are. They're putting up some serious points.
Yeah. So.
And then Colby is up to Stratford, of course, up there in the latest rankings.
Colby playing much better the last few weeks. They got Gavin Voss back in the lineup. And
he had helps.
He had a big week last week against Marathon, and they beat Marathon 40. They struggled early, but they're going to make the playoffs with that team. But we'll see what happens. So, but.
Yeah, take a look at the rankings this week, and you have to go down a ways to get to some local teams. But when you get down in Division 5 and 6 and 7, there's a lot of local flavor.
D5, of course, you got Wrightstown on top, but Stratford number 2, and Stratford is at Colby this week, as we said. Stanley Boyd number 4, and of course they're hosting Niels LeGrant, and then Amherst, a team nobody's talking about much over there.
No.
But they handed it to LG last week pretty good, and they're at Spencer Columbus this week, but they're 8th, so they're a team to watch out.
I think they are. Yes, they are.
You
Division 6, Regis is on top. Yeah. Abbotsford, you mentioned them. They're ranked 3rd. Mondovi still 4th. Auburndale 7th.
They're holding in there.
Yeah.
They've got that one loss against Edgar, but they're doing fine. So it's
Edgar is number 2 in Division 7.
Behind Petoskey Cassville, a team that they took to the woodshed at the state finals last year.
We'll see what happens this year.
Yeah.
8th-player, Owen Withey beat Thorpe, and boy, Thorpe lost, and it took him right out of the top 10.
Yeah, and Gilman dropped all the way down to 8th also. They'd been pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4 there, but now Owen Withey just
they really took it to Thorpe.
59-0.
Wow.
I said, wow, Thorpe hasn't been beat like that in a long, long time. And so Owen Withey stands on top, and then McDonald is 6th. They had a nice win over Gilman, 22-14. And then Gilman stands at 8th. So, but Owen Withey looking like the real deal in 8-man this year.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. It'll be interesting to see how they move along as the season progresses.
Yeah, and this week, Thorpe is at Gilman this week, so that should be a good matchup this week up there. So
you bet. All right, moving on to girls volleyball. They got their conference matches finally starting to get those in here, and the top 4 teams all won on Tuesday, so they are all 2-0. Colby, Columbus Catholic, Gilman, and Loyal.
And all 4 teams getting mentioned in the state rankings.
Yes.
Colby, honorable mention in D3. Should say Cuba City is 1 there, Stratford 4, Marathon 5, McDonald 10th. But Colby getting honorable mention there. And D4, you've got Regis 8th, Pacelli 10th, with Loyal got honorable mention, Auburndale honorable mention, and Rib Lake honorable mention. So... And then in D5, you've got Newman 3rd and Columbus 8th, and Gilman with honorable mention. So Eastern Cloverbell getting a lot of love this year in the volleyball.
Well, I watched that match with Columbus Catholic in Neilsville the other night, and wow, Columbus Catholic took it in Neilsville in a quick hurry.
Yeah.
They got some hitters.
You bet. So,
they don't let the ball hit the floor too much either.
But a lot of good athletes in the Eastern Cloverbelt this year. So, and we'll see what happens. But Columbus is still up there. Columbus is still the top dog until one of those teams knocks them off. So.
Well, they host Colby tonight.
Yep.
So there's one of them. And then Loyal is at Owen Withee, and Gilman is at Neelsville. Yep. And Greenwood at Spencer tonight in girls volleyball in the Eastern Clover Belt. How about Isaac Shear in cross country? His fourth straight first-place finish the other night.
And little brother got second.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how that fared out there at the end, how those two run.
I wonder how it is at home there.
You got to keep your legs, I wonder how the older brother coaches the younger brother.
I said that kid is just on a roll, though. That's 4 straight wins for him. This Friday night, Larry, and I will be at Stanley, but this is something I wouldn't mind seeing. They have that big deal over at River's Edge at nighttime cross country.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is 40 schools.
Oh, wow.
And it's listed from 7:30 to 10. So I think they run in shifts, but I forget what they call this, but it's they run it. It's a dark night. Dusk, something.
We'll look it up here and see what we got. But a couple of Neelsville runners finishing in the top 10.
Hey, Will Drinka doing good. Mr. Schultz doing really good.
Hunter Schultz?
Yep, they're coming along pretty nicely there. So.
Well, let's see. What do they call it? They don't have a name for it.
Yeah, I couldn't find the name for it, but I saw pictures last year, and it looked like the coolest thing.
It is. It is pretty neat running in the dark over there at River's Edge Golf Course. Yep. So that'll be happening tomorrow night. A lot of area teams. You mentioned 40 of them, and most area teams are involved.
Yeah, just about everybody for locally. So.
All right, the Marshfield Tiger girls golf team won their first ever Wisconsin Valley championship. They took first the other day at Marshfield. In fact, the Tigers girls won 6 of the 7 conference meets this season. So they were the conference champs.
You bet. So
easily. Regional golf starts next week.
Yes, you bet. Another high school note I got, Larry, and I came across this. Sally Williams, of course, is the new head coach at McDonald Central. Yep. She had been an assistant at UW Eau Claire, but I wondered what Don Cooper left McDonald last summer because there was a difference between him and the administration on who and how the basketball program was being run. Oh. And I just didn't understand that because that program has just been so successful. So anyway, Don Cooper was grabbed by Regis, and he is on Brian Brenner's staff for football, and he is the assistant girls basketball coach at Regis too. So
well, we'll see how that fares for them.
Well, I just that shocked me that somebody would question this guy, how this guy was running his program. So. Well, whatever.
Well,
so
stuff happens, I guess. The politics.
Politics. There you go. Good word there.
The politics in sports. All right. Normally we have Where Are They Now here on the program, but today we're going to talk about some athletes that were inducted into the Marshfield Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame this past Saturday night at the Elks Club in Marshfield. They had some high school graduates from Marshfield. They also had a retired teacher and a couple of teams from 1999 that were inducted in. Graduates, Andy Varsho Alexander, softball, tennis, and basketball. Ashley Jajarski
Pacini, I believe it is.
Volleyball and softball. C.J. Brock in golf. Oladipo Fagbini in track and field and football.
Yep.
Also retired teacher and longtime track and field coach Jim Sherburne. And the 1999 football and 1999 volleyball teams were all honored.
Yeah, 1999 team was a state champion. One of their players was Green Bay Packer offensive coordinator Adam Stenovich.
Actually, they're runner-up.
Okay, runner-up. Okay.
They made it to the championship.
Adam Stenovich was on that team.
Yes, he was, yes. And the volleyball team, they went unbeaten in the conference and never lost a set that year. So. But a couple of the players, or the athletes, our own Gene Delisio had a chance to talk with. And the first one is Andy Varsho Alexander.
Marshfield Tiger Hall of Famer Andy Varsho joining us and talking about her career at Marshfield High School. Andy, congratulations, first of all, on being selected for the Hall of Fame. Give us your thoughts about this big occasion.
It's very special to share it with all the other inductees and in front of plenty of community members and former teachers, coaches, and it's an honor, and I'm super excited to join a very prestigious group of people, including my father, and I can't thank a lot of the people that came to support me enough.
Can you look back on your high school career here, a 3-sport athlete, And what did it mean to you to play not only 3 sports, but play them here at Marshfield High School?
It meant a lot. I mean, playing 3 sports is like having another job, right? Like you're not just a student, but you're a student athlete, and I hope I can be an example for the younger generation to say, you can do all 3, you can do more. It's time to put your schedule to the test. I think being involved in 3 sports allowed me to experience time management, pressure situations, and ultimately just prepared me so well for after high school. High school is a wonderful place to experience a lot of different opportunities, and I just really want the next generation to be able to want more and experience more, because you have the capabilities to take on a lot more than they know.
When people think about you as an athlete, they of course think about softball, but you did play tennis and basketball. Let's touch upon those sports. First of all, your basketball career. You had a very solid career as a point guard, passer, defender, shot the ball fairly well. Tell us about your memories of playing basketball here.
Well, the memories of playing basketball, we were a very talented group of team. Overall, the team was very talented. Under Heidi Michaels, Heidi was a wonderful coach. I got to experience it with Katie Wolf, Danielle Carlson, Courtney Schneider, just a lot of, and Jenna Weigel. A lot of really talented athletes, and it was a really awesome experience being able to go to state twice, and then ultimately playing with my sister for 2 years, and helping her achieve her goals too was ultimately just something to put a cap on my career in basketball too. So overall, basketball was my favorite sport. Like overall in high school, I loved basketball season because I knew I was surrounded by athletes that would challenge me and that were better than me and ultimately made me want to be better. So I think that's something that I'm reflecting on now that I think ultimately helped me succeed in other sports too.
What was it like for you in tennis, playing a sport that, although you played doubles as a junior, is primarily thought of as an individual sport, and then playing team sports the rest of the year?
I think it helps you. I think it just grows your mental capacity. It helps you understand your limits and ultimately areas that you need to improve as an individual and even as a doubles team, right? The self-reflection is automatic, and in team sports it's pretty hard to get that because it's a team. Like you there's elements that ultimately impact everything else, but in an individual sport you have self-reflection right away, and I feel like that ultimately builds your capacity for mental toughness. And I think tennis is a tremendous life sport that I continue to play till today, and it was great to have that dynamic difference of being an individual ultimately in the fall to help me prepare for my team sports later on in the year.
How about your softball career at Marshfield High School and what that meant to you?
Softball was wonderful. I had a great group of kids, or not kids, student athletes, as well as myself, and I played with great teammates, just overall great quality teammates that taught me, just how to continue to build my capacity to not only be great at softball, but be a great human. And I think specific 2 people come to mind. Jenny Sanasak was an amazing teammate that I still keep in contact till today, and she's just a wonderful human. If she taught me anything, she just taught me to be kind. Like, she is just the kindest soul I've ever been around. And then Rayling Wingert, she played tennis with me as well. Her and I still keep in contact. She's a softball coach over in the Green Bay area, and we kind of pick each other's brains a lot, but we had so much fun. Like, overall, the softball experience was fun, but it was demanding on myself because I just expected so much of myself in that sport because I grew up around baseball. Like, I had so many goals in my mind that I wanted to accomplish that I ultimately hope that if I did bring anything to the teams, it's bringing them up with me, right? Like, I hope that their goals ultimately increased because my goals were high.
All right, Andy talks a lot about how going through Marshfield helped her through life. I mean, she was an excellent athlete. I didn't know she was a tennis player.
When I read, I didn't realize that either. Yeah. But she played like 8 state tournaments. She was a 4-year starter as a point guard in basketball, and then 4-year starter in softball, of course, and then tennis too. So, but she was a tremendous point guard in basketball too. So, and today I believe she is activities director at Stoughton High School.
Okay, all right.
Went to Purdue and played softball. She played college softball at Purdue. So.
That's right. You are correct. Of course, from the Varsho family.
Yes, the oldest child. The oldest child.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Yeah.
All right. And next up, Gene had a chance to talk with one of the other inductees into the Marshfield Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame, and that's C.J. Brock, who was inducted for his efforts in golf.
C.J. Brock joining us, a new member of the Marshfield Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame. And C.J., congratulations on your induction. Tell us what that means to you to be inducted into the Tiger Hall of Fame.
I mean, it's an incredible honor. Really humbled. I said in my interview or my speech at the ceremony, I'm not normally a man of few words, but this has me somewhat stumped because I never saw myself as being that outstanding or really being a candidate for this type of an honor. Just felt like I was a good golfer, right? But yeah, it's just an incredible honor. Now I look at it, being able to have my kids here to witness it, and my parents, of course. It's special.
How did you learn some of those technical skills, how to play the game correctly?
Well, a lot of it started with just mimicking my dad. He was right-handed, I was left-handed, so I'm always staring at him and mimicking what he's doing, watching guys on TV. I was really blessed going back to the head golf professionals that we had at River Edge, starting with Greg Dick, and then Fred Hancock and Doug Sheldon. Really, in my formative years from 5 years old up to about the age of 14, they really taught me the basic fundamentals, and I got connected with Greg Johnson out of Wisconsin Rapids, who's a golf professional down there, and that's when I just kind of hockey stick growth in terms of exponentially getting better and whatnot. But it was always under the tutelage of a PGA golf professional with Dad there, but Dad wasn't there to coach. Dad was there to encourage.
How about your years here at Marshfield High School and how that helped develop you as a golfer?
I think it's a combination of what happened on and off the golf course. I'll always remember Walt Chapman, who I had as a history teacher as a sophomore, and just he was so disciplined in his fitness regimen, and Bill Zeiger was very disciplined in his basketball regimen, and just having the support, seeing those teachers in action, not only with what they taught me in the classroom, but how they conducted themselves, was equally as important as what was poured into us as student athletes when we were out of the golf course. So I think I benefited from that.
I often ask basketball or baseball or football players this. I guess it would be appropriate for a golfer as well. But what was the strength of your game, some things you were really good at as a golfer?
So they called me the garbage can kid in high school, mostly because I didn't hit a lot of fairways or a lot of greens, but I always found a way to get in the hole. So chipping and putting was my forte because it had to be. If I wanted to shoot good scores, I had to be able to get the golf ball in the hole. So I was never out of a hole, ever, because felt like I could get it up and down from anywhere on the golf course. And that was, that to this day, I'm really known for that, for my short game prowess, which is fun.
When you made the jump from the Marshfield Tigers to the Wisconsin Badgers, what was that jump like for you?
Initially, it was a big jump, but we somewhat knew it was going to be a big jump, so we were a little bit more prepared. But I was playing really good when I jumped in. I wasn't struggling like some of the freshmen were. I seemed to assimilate pretty quickly, but I was also determined to be the best player on that team. I went and sat in Dennis Tiziani's office for 61 consecutive days before he would say, okay, before he said, I have time for you. Today, coaches would get fired for doing that with the players that they recruited. But he wanted to see if I really had the inner fortitude to pursue and if I really wanted it that bad. So, again, I think I was really blessed just because I came from a highly competitive environment at Marshfield to you got to earn it, right? That continued at University of Wisconsin. So I think that was a critical part of me being successful.
All right, that's C.J. Brock. He inducted into the Marshfield Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame for golf, and the Brock name.
Just a golf. And, of course, C.J. was probably the best of the bunch, but and he went on to play at UW-Madison.
Yes.
And then I believe he played on some professional tournaments, and today he's down in Texas. He's the head of a medical
he's doing
group.
really well.
Yeah. So he's doing really well down there.
So congratulations to all those inductees, and thanks to Gene for those interviews.
I should say Ashley Jadarski, I knew her as a little girl. She was
loyal
yeah,
native.
She was a loyal native. Transferred to Marshfield after her freshman year. Her dad was longtime football coach at Loyal and also coached baseball. And I said, this girl, they knew she was going to be a great pitcher, and she was. She led Marshfield to 2 state tournament championships. And
unfortunately, she moved out of Loyal.
Yes, that was interesting times. But then she went on to play at St. Cloud State also. So,
okay.
So
right.
and she's over in Appleton School District now. And then Depot, he track, a sprinter, and then he had a great career at the University of Minnesota. He was also a tremendous football player.
He was, yes.
Tremendous football player.
I forgot he was. I just remember him a lot from track. But.
You look in the Marshfield high school football records, he holds a few yardage records. So.
Yes, he does. Yes. All right. So, again, congratulations to all those inductees into that Marshfield Athletic Hall of Fame. College football, the Badgers get back into action this weekend as they travel to USC, take on the Trojans.
Yeah, 2:30 CBS, so it'll be interesting. Mr. Locke is going to get his first start. We'll see. USC looked pretty good last weekend in a loss at Michigan. They held Michigan to 32 yards passing, but maybe they can be run on. I don't know, but I think the Badger defense is going to have their hands full there. So.
Well, they're going to have a lot of Badger fans there because I understand that game is sold out.
Oh, and that's the L.A. Coliseum. That holds 100,000. So
there'll be a lot of people there watching that one.
A lot of red.
Yes. One of the big games, though, in college football, Georgia at Alabama already.
Yeah, that's early. That's usually towards the end of the season, but
that's a top 5 matchup.
Number 2 versus number 3.
Yeah,
and that is on ABC at 6:30 Saturday night. So that's some primetime watching. That really heads up the not a bad ticket this year, but that is to have one this early, Larry. That's crazy. So
and Illinois is at Penn State.
Yeah,
6:30 on NBC. Saturday
Illinois is ranked, and they beat another ranked team last week out of Nebraska. So. It looks like Brett Bielema has a pretty good ball club. We'll see what happens when he goes out to Penn State.
Yeah, but, they said it's the first time those two teams have been ranked when they played each other in quite a while.
Yeah. Kentucky is at Ole Miss. Ole Miss, of course, ranked right up there, but Kentucky wasn't that a couple weeks ago. They almost beat Georgia, so it could be a strong game there too. So
there are some good matchups this week in college football. And the NFL, the Packers getting set to take on the Vikings. It'll be interesting to see if we get Jordan Love this week or not.
Yeah, we'll see. Malik Willis looked much more comfortable last week. Defense, 8 sacks, 3 takeaways.
Yeah.
This Jeff Hatley defense looks like it's for real. We'll see. I think everybody would love to see Jordan Love out there, though. So,
but the way Malik Willis is playing,
and he gives
not worried anymore.
His legs give him another threat to that offense. Too,
he's been rushing the ball really well.
That's probably the top game of the week too. I think in the NFL schedule.
Sure, better than the one tonight. Dallas at New York to take on the Giants. They've had some sleepers for Thursday night football.
Dallas has been struggling though. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, they have.
A couple more losses, and Mike McCarthy is going to be a very hot seat. So. But yeah, the rest of the schedule is pretty vanilla, really.
Yeah,
So,
and then they got 2 games again on Monday night.
yeah, that was kind of cool last week. 2 good games. Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels looks like he's kind of the real deal playing there. So
He does. All right, well, we got high school football coming up tomorrow night as Neelsville Granton is at Stanley Boyd, 7 o'clock on 92.7 WPKG. That'll wrap it up for this week on Two Guys on Sports. Again, you can archive our shows online, cwbradio.com. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you next week.